Today, we're diving into a story that's both heartbreaking and incredibly thought-provoking. It's a real-life situation that one of our community members, let's call him Mark, shared with us. Mark's story is about love, betrayal, and the messy, complicated path to forgiveness. It forces us to ask some tough questions. Can a marriage truly survive infidelity? And what happens when you forgive someone, but life or karma seems to have other plans? Mark and Sarah had what everyone thought was the perfect marriage. They were high school sweethearts who had built a beautiful life together over 15 years. They had 2 wonderful kids, a lovely home in the suburbs, and a circle of friends who adored them. From the outside, they were the poster couple for happily ever after. Mark was a dedicated husband and father. He worked a demanding job as an architect, but always made sure to be home for dinner, to help with homework, and to coach his son's soccer team. Sarah was a vibrant, stay-at-home mom who was the heart of their social life. She planned the parties, organized playdates, and her laughter filled their home. But beneath this idyllic surface, cracks were beginning to form. As the years went by, the spark that once defined their relationship started to dim. The daily grind of work, bills, and raising kids took its toll. Their conversations became more about logistics and less about their dreams and feelings. Mark, feeling the pressure to provide, started working longer hours, often coming home exhausted and emotionally distant. Sarah, on the other hand, began to feel lonely and unappreciated. The home she once loved started to feel like a cage, and the routine felt suffocating. She yearned for the excitement and passion of their younger days, a time when she felt seen and desired. This growing distance created a void, and unfortunately, someone else stepped in to fill it. It started innocently enough. Sarah joined a local book club to have something for herself, a little escape. There she met David. He was charismatic, attentive, and he listened to her in a way she felt Mark no longer did. Their conversations started with books but quickly deepened into personal hopes and frustrations. A coffee after a meeting turned into secret lunches. The emotional connection soon spiraled into a full-blown physical affair. For Sarah, it was a whirlwind of forbidden excitement that made her feel alive again. But it was also a double life, woven with a complex web of lies that became harder and harder to maintain. The truth, as it often does, came out in the most brutal way possible. Mark had been planning a surprise anniversary trip for them, a chance to reconnect and find their spark again. While looking for travel documents on their shared computer, he stumbled upon a series of emails between Sarah and David. The words on the screen were a gut punch. Explicit, loving, and filled with plans for a future that didn't include him. His world shattered in that instant. Every memory, every "I love you," every shared moment was suddenly tainted. The pain was indescribable, a mix of shock, rage, and a profound sense of betrayal from the one person he trusted completely. The confrontation was explosive. Tears, accusations, and denials that quickly crumbled into a devastating confession. Sarah, faced with the undeniable proof, broke down. She admitted everything, expressing deep regret and shame for the pain she had caused. For Mark, the following weeks were a blur of sleepless nights and agonizing days. He moved into the guest room, the house filled with a heavy, suffocating silence. He was torn. A part of him wanted to pack his bags, leave, and never look back. The thought of her with another man was a constant, torturous image in his mind. But then he looked at his children. He thought about the 15 years they had built, the home they had made. Was it all worth throwing away? He saw Sarah's genuine remorse. She wasn't making excuses. She was broken, begging for a chance to fix the irreparable damage she had caused. She cut off all contact with David, started individual therapy, and pleaded with Mark to go to marriage counseling with her. After weeks of soul-searching and countless conversations, Mark made a decision that shocked everyone, including himself. He decided to forgive her. He chose to try and rebuild their marriage, not for the sake of appearances, but because deep down under all the pain, he still loved her. Their journey back was incredibly difficult. Trust is like glass. Once shattered, it can be pieced back together, but the cracks will always be visible. They went to counseling religiously. They had raw, painful conversations that lasted late into the night. Mark had to learn to manage his triggers, a late text, an unanswered call, and Sarah had to learn to be an open book, providing the constant reassurance he needed. Slowly, painstakingly, they began to rebuild. There were good days, filled with glimpses of their old connection, and terrible days, where the weight of the betrayal felt too heavy to bear. But they kept fighting, and after about a year, it seemed like they were going to make it. They were communicating better than ever, and a new, more mature love was beginning to blossom from the ashes of their old one. But here's where the story takes a turn, a twist that no one saw coming. Just as they were finding their footing, tragedy struck. One evening, Sarah was driving home from a late therapy session. It was raining heavily, the roads were slick, and visibility was poor. A driver in the opposite lane, reportedly distracted, hydroplaned and swerved directly into her path. The collision was catastrophic. Mark received the call that every spouse dreads. He rushed to the hospital, his heart pounding with a familiar, sickening dread. But this time it was different. By the time he arrived, it was too late. Sarah was gone. The aftermath was a surreal nightmare. Mark was now a widower, a single father to 2 grieving children. The community that had watched their marriage crumble and then slowly mend was now rallying around him in shared grief. But for Mark, the grief was unimaginably complex. He wasn't just mourning the wife he had lost. He was mourning the future they had fought so hard to rebuild. He had gone through the hell of betrayal and had made the conscious, difficult choice to forgive. He had put in the work, faced the pain, and chosen love. And just when they were seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, she was snatched away. This is where the idea of life or karma comes into play, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. Friends and family tried to comfort him, but some whispered that this was some kind of cosmic justice, that Sarah was paying the ultimate price for her infidelity. Mark found this notion both cruel and deeply unsettling. Had he forgiven her, only for the universe to deliver its own harsher sentence? Or was this just a tragic, random accident, a cruel twist of fate that had nothing to do with her past actions? He was left with these unanswerable questions, grappling not only with loss but with the what-ifs. What if he hadn't forgiven her? What if they had just divorced? Would she still be alive? The story of Mark and Sarah leaves us in a deeply contemplative space. It highlights the incredible strength it takes to forgive such a profound betrayal. Mark's decision to try and rebuild his family was an act of immense grace and love. Yet, the outcome feels profoundly unfair. It challenges our neat and tidy beliefs about forgiveness and consequences. We want to believe that when we do the right thing, when we choose love and grace, things will work out. But life is rarely that simple. Sometimes tragedy is just that tragic and random, without a deeper meaning or lesson. Mark's journey didn't end there. He had to find a way to navigate his own grief while guiding his children through theirs. He had to honor the memory of their mother, focusing on the good years and the love she had for them, while privately wrestling with the complexity of their final years together. It's a story without a clean resolution, a testament to the fact that life is messy, unpredictable, and often heartbreakingly unfair. It reminds us that forgiveness is ultimately a gift we give ourselves, the release from bitterness and anger regardless of the outcome. Mark chose forgiveness, and while it didn't lead to the happy ending he hoped for, it allowed him to face an unthinkable tragedy without the added burden of hate. And in the end, perhaps that was its own form of grace. What do you all think? Was this a case of karma, or simply a terrible tragedy? And could you forgive in the way Mark did? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is a heavy one, I know, but these are the conversations worth having. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories.